Hello, today I'm going to show you how to solve a professor pyraminx and a 4x4 Jing pyraminx. I view this as a more of a simplified um, version of the professor pyraminx. The differences in these puzzles is the tips, like this is separated, this is pieced together. The equivalent to these two pieces would be these two pieces right here. And obviously it doesn't have a centerpiece on this one, but it does have these three pieces, and they behave exactly the same. So on this one, these pieces would be equivalent to these pieces on a master pyraminx. What this center and the center on the master pyraminx would be equivalent to a center on a Jing pyraminx. And in fact, with the master pyraminx, it's like a Jing pyraminx because of these pieces. Behaves like a Jing pyraminx. So I'm going to show a brief solve for both. Then I'm going to show you all the algorithms you need to know. Then I'm going to do a more detailed solve and explain everything. So let's get into it. I'm just going to use this puzzle because this one is easier to understand what's going on. Then we can look at the professor pyraminx. Oh, before I began, I forgot to mention something. With the another difference between the Jing pyraminx and a normal pyraminx is this puzzle is both face turning and corner turning, which is something unique to a pyraminx. With the Jing pyraminx, it's only face turning. So let me give an example, right? So on this, right, it's more restrictive of a cube is like a dodecahedron or a pyraminx in the sense, you can turn this layer on this 5x5, you can turn this one, but there's no equivalent to hair and hair, and you cannot turn the middle. Like it's not possible to only turn the middle, and because of it, it's way more restrictive. Let me get that out of the way. So let's solve this now. So the first step would be simply to align the corners, because unlike with other puzzles, the centers doesn't move on the pyraminx, but the corners can only rotate. So this corner, right, is red, green, blue, green, red. Let me look at that. So this side would be red. Then we saw these pieces next, and I'm going to show you the last two pieces. Last two houses. A lot of people on YouTube, when they make a tutorial, they never where does this one go? Down here. And by the way, if you ever want to know on a pyraminx if you have the right side up, it's the same color as the face when you're inserting it to the bottom. The exception would be if you have to turn it like this and like this, then it will be the opposite color than the face that is visible in front. And so with the other, okay, it's right here. Again, it was opposite, now it's the same. Then just move it in. And where's the... Oh, here it is. And where's that one? Now, I'm going to look for these two pieces. Okay. Same color. Move that into place. And, okay, back here, move it in. So this side, this is all other than the centers, which we're going to do that last. Then we are going to look over here. Okay. So we got this case, which is a parity case, which is the same that we can get on the Professor pyraminx, despite being a odd number of layers, it still functionally acts as even. So in this case, the simplest thing to do is move it one, then just do the normal pyraminx odds, like flipping when you have all of the odds is flipped. Do that algorithm on either side, but not the one that's facing. Then from there, you want to find two that's the same color that lines up. Okay, here they are, right here. Let's put that into the correct place. Now we have these two, right? And this side is, yellow, green, and what is this side? Yellow and blue. So it is top to the left. That. Then move this to the top again, move this down, and do it in reverse. And so we solve this case. Okay. And this algorithm does flip the corners to flip this one. But that's not a big deal. Okay. So yeah, guys, the flip corner is confusing me, so I'm going to fix that. Put that back in. Put that like that. These are flipped. Okay, good. And this one needs to go that way. Okay, good. So now all we have is the centers. And that can be done with another algorithm. So this algorithm will flip either these two or these two. And it doesn't matter on the sides. It's the two that's closest together. Not opposite, so it's not like this one and this one. It's not like that. It's this one and this one, or this one, or this one. And so I'm going to look around to see It's simpler if we can get one that is the same color on both sides, pulled in perfectly into place, but I'm not seeing that. So I guess I'm going to swap these two because this faces the run one. Let me think here. Yeah. You could also swap these two centers if it put more pieces in the self state, like the down, up, otherism. Do that if you have to. Here, let me think here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any good swaps, so I guess it's going to be these two. So the is no. Yeah, it's on the right side. And when it's on the left side, it's the mirror of this algorithm. So it's 3 cycles. Then since it was on the right side, after the second cycle, we're going to move this to the right. If it was on the left side, then we would move it to the left. Custom. Okay, we move it. Okay. So I just want to sell these inside at once. Sorry about this. This puzzle don't turn good. It has pop on me before. Going to the freaking how. Oh. Okay, so line this out. Okay, very good, very good. Now so now it's on the right side, and the difference is going to be mare. So inside of this going to the left, now this is going to go to the right. Now, let's do this blue. So it's always better to move the bottom layer with this algorithm than trying to do flipping the front, because there's one less layer you have to move and it's just easier later when I'm trying to figure out your setup moves. Oh my god. Okay, good. Then it's going to be these two. So I'm just going to do the right side. don't pop. Okay, very good. So now we have one piece left, and it's this one. So we would have to move this front side the person. And just like that is south. Now I'm going to show you the Professor pyraminx. How to solve a Professor pyraminx with a method I came up with, including some of the algorithms. It begins by solving the outside first, then the centers. Though I did came up with a way to do the centers first, then the edges, but like any pyraminx, you would first solve the corners first because they merely rotate and they don't move. So they are like a centers on a normal Rubik cube. So obviously the three colors has to match, and what we can see is rod. The tips is identical to this piece, and then it's rod. If for some reason this piece wasn't rod, but these two are, then it must be this side that's rod, because otherwise this piece couldn't be this side couldn't be rod. So let's get started. Let's move the rod side and let's solve for the rod side. So what we are going to do now is solve for these two pieces everywhere. Pair out the others. These pieces don't really matter. They can be solved at any time. But if we, for example, solve these three others, then we decide to solve these two pieces, then we're just going to screw it up, because when we move these pieces, they move these two pieces. So either that they will be done at the same time or later with the stop of doing these two pieces, because these two pieces, yes, sir, they can move, but they are like the corners in a way, because there's no way to solve them without messing up these three pieces, these three assets pieces. So let's do that now. So what we have? We have the rod side. So I see a rod blue, and the rod blue goes here, right? So this is solved, but this isn't. So let's bring this up and let's rotate it and bring another piece in. Well, there's the correct piece, but for this side, but not in the right rotation. So typically on a pyraminx, is when you want to pull a piece in, it's the same color of the side that's facing you. The only exception to that is, let's say you're serving these and you have to do this to pull the piece in, then in that case it will be opposite. than the face that's facing you. But it's almost always you want to insert it to the bottom. If you want to insert it to the bottom, it's going to be the same color as the face that's orientated you. For example, this is green, and so we know automatically that can go there. But again, that's the wrong color. Wrong piece. So where's the raw green? Right here. That move it so it can be the same color. Move that into place. Here's another raw green. It's the same color as this face. These face. So that goes in. Is there any rod? There's a rod blue right here. Same color. Bring that in. And then there's a red yellow. And it has to be the same color as the face that's pointing towards you. Then there's another red yellow. Put that in. Then that's that. Okay, we have the bottom side. Now let's do these. So with these pieces, what we would want is for there to be a pair on the back side that matches. The orientation doesn't matter. It could be flipped. We're going to fix that later. But what we want is these two pieces to be the same pair, and these two pieces to be the same, part of the same pair, and these two pieces. So it must be a cross. In the case that you can't do that, then you go either to the right or the left side and you do the typical pyraminx flipping algorithm for the edges. So what that typically does is it flips these two, it flips them, then it rotates them. Like flip them on both sides. So it's something like this, very easy algorithm, and it flip them. But what you cannot see is now this piece was originally up here, and this piece was originally down here, and same on the other side. This piece was originally here before we did the algorithm, and this piece was originally up here. And so we would use this if we don't get the case we want. So we can see that we have a green yellow right here. But these are opposite, right? Like here and here. And we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that algorithm. Here. Then we're going to look back. And this is what we want. So this is the yellow green. Let me put it in the right place. Correct? Okay. And then we're going to look at this side. This side is yellow blue. Right? And so we want to place the other yellow blue here. So move it across. And the reason behind this is, imagine we're going to flip this, right? Well, we're going to put the piece here, and this piece is going to come back. And so we would solve it. If you do it in the wrong order, you would get parity, despite this being a odd layer puzzle. It can still get odd parity. So there's two ways to go about that, solving it. The first way is to separate and do this algorithm on this side or this side, then try to reconnect the two pieces on the back of the same pair. Or you do this algorithm where I'm going to show you twice. So anyways, if for some reason this would need to be the blue-green side, then we would move the blue-green here. etc. And I know this may seem confusing, but when we solve for this, when we undo it, we are actually going to rotate it like to the left again. And if it was on the bottom, then we would rotate this layer, the third layer, to the right. I know it doesn't make sense. We're going to manipulate this side, flip it, then bring it back. So the algorithm which I discover, there is another algorithm, by the way, that does the same thing. I just simply forgot it and involves slice moves. It flips these two. And it also flips the corners, but we would sell them later, so it doesn't matter. Fix them later. So since we want the yellow blue, we're going to move it over. Then it involves flipping this, flipping the right side up, moving it into place, and we know it's the correct position because these two would be the same pair. Then again, then we're going to undo that and undo the flipping. So it goes like this. Flip it, and this to the right, and this merges. So bring this back down and undo that setup move. Just like that. You see that? And I know on tutorials on YouTube, it doesn't explain this. Because I guess they haven't discovered an algorithm. I discovered two algorithms. I just forgot one. And so to me, like, there's no point into doing a tutorial if you don't know how to properly solve it. But anyways, now we are going to solve on each odds, these three pieces. And so how we're going to do that is bring it, like literally place into pieces. Again, this is the same color as this face. So just bring it into place. Bring that down. And this is in the correct position, but it needs to be flipped. And where's the other one? I don't see it. So we're going to go to this side, and do we see any more green? Same color. So let's bring this in. And then do we see any other? It's right here. And again, it's the same color. And the other one is over here. Right here. And we're going to bring this down. And where's the other raw green? Over here. Okay. Now, is there any raw and blue? Right here is the same color. So it's correct. And here's the yellow and red piece. Bring that over. Start in. Now, just orientate it. And the way it's correct. Now we're going to solve these pieces. Then these. And then these. Well, I guess it doesn't matter what you do. It does have to be done. So I'm looking at these odds pieces in the center, in the center of the odds, and I can see this one needs to go here. This one needs to go here and whatnot. So I'm just going to move it, and I'll going to explain this algorithm more in detail when I get around to it at the later part of the video. Okay, good. And now these two pieces need to be flipped. It's the same algorithm as this, but do it in the opposite, not in the opposite, but on a different layer instead of doing it, like this. It's one layer on. And now we have this. So look, same color. So actually here we want the opposite color. So we bring this down, and when you do that, we always want the opposite color. Bring this to here, bring that down, bring this up, and these pieces needs to go this way. So let's do this. Like this has always confused me. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I never get why. Like I always turn it in the direction it needs to go in, but sometimes it takes 2 cycles. But it doesn't matter because it ultimately gets done. Now we are going to check to see if 3 of these centers are unsolved, but 1 is solved. We don't want that. It can be all of them not solved, or all 4, but not 3. Because the reason why is once we solve for these center edges, the algorithm which we need to do would ruin that, would make us work all over. So, and we have this case. So green, red, yellow, blue. And what we do is it goes for this, we're going to move the whole center. And I always learned this algorithm. It's very simple. It's up, left, down, left, up. And now it's the same case. So we're going to do this twice. Okay, sometimes it takes 2 times. That doesn't matter. But now they are all unsolved. Then let's bring this blue over to here. Like this time, it works as I would expect it to. So, again, that has always confused me with pyraminxes. And there's something else, right? We can flip this center with this center, or this center with this center, or this center with this center, right? But ultimately, the 2 opposites is going to be flipped. And we might do it if it gives us a favorable case. And so blue, green. And in this case, so green goes here, and then this goes here, or this goes here, and this goes. I like this one. And it's just the typical pyraminx. When you solve it on a master pyraminx, the centers on the master pyraminx again, or on the Jing's pyraminx, same thing. And now we have a more favorable case. But how are we going to solve for these center edges? Is there is an algorithm for that? It exists as a free cycle. Each cycle has 4 moves. You're going to do 2 moves, then undo those 2 moves, and the reverse alter It's very easy, but at the end of the second cycle, if it's to the right, you're solving this one and this one, you're going to move it to the right. Similarly, if it's on the left side, you're going to move it to the left. And for this layer, if it's to the left, its opposite is to the right. And if you're doing it on the right side, then it's to the left. So this second to the bottom layer is always going to be opposite to the side you're doing it on. I sort of saw this earlier, but it swaps like this one and this one, or this one and this one. But don't get confused, it's not these two right ones, right? You might think that, this one is correlated to this one, but it's not. Or this one to this one. So it's always the one directly below the face that's pointing you. It drops this side and this side. The pieces of each side, this and this. So we're just going to look around. Okay, so I'm not saying like a definitive mask. So we're going to swap this green one and this blue one. So how it's going to go is the second layer towards the right side is going to go up. And since it's on the right, it's in the opposite direction. So the second layer towards the bottom is going to turn left. Then the second layer on the right again is going to go down. Then the second layer towards the bottom is going to turn right. And we're going to repeat that. It might mess up the centers, but we are going to solve them. Come on, please. Anyways, so I forgot where I was. Hopefully I don't do a mistake. I recall moving it here. Bring that on, and bring that forward. Since it's right, we're going to move the bottom layer to the right. Okay, and that looks good. I might have messed up there, but the piece got popped. So let's do this yellow and this green and the yellow again on the right side. So the rightmost middle layer is going to go up. It's opposite, so the second layer towards the bottom is going to go to the left. Then the second layer towards the right most layer, face, is going to go down, and the second layer towards the bottom is going to go right, and it's like that for one more time. Then, because it is the end of the second cycle, we're going to turn the bottom to the right, up, over, on, over, and then we just simply have to undo this move, and let's do this yellow and red piece. It is on the right again, but if you have the option, I always turn the bottom layer. That way it's more simple for you. If you turn both faces for the setup, then you might forget what order you did it in, etc. but I always like to turn the face that's facing me first, then they lay on the bottom, because then it's least consecutive. It's not like in 3 parts. That looks good. And let's do this yellow. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the left side now. It's the second layer towards the left face upwards. Then the second layer towards the bottom rightwards. Then the second layer towards the left face downwards. Then the second layer towards the bottom leftwards as well. Then that just repeats. And then pin 2 layers. So let's do this. Okay, and do the setup move. Then let's do these greens. And again. Do that. Then again on the left side. Stem it that side down. Put this side down. Then what's next? Let me think here. This side on. Then this side like this. And then since it's towards the left, then it's like this. A nice fruit. No, I messed up. There, sorry about that. It's always a distraction when a piece pops. But that's one of the things that happens to this puzzle. It's not as bad as the 4x4 things pyraminx by Senhasal. And so I give them that. But since it's a pyraminx, you must have pieces overhanging. Even on the monster pyraminx, it's still like that. The edges hang over. What do I do? Let me undo that because I got distracted, and let's do these two. Okay, almost done. Now it's only these two. And you know, it's something that you have to keep in mind is it's confusing not doing it at a speed that you know you do it at normally, and when you do the same thing over and over again, your mind just simply gets fatigued. But now we have this case where these centers need to be swapped with each other. So this green one with this yellow one, this blue one with this red one. So how we're going to do this is have the face towards the bottom and face, you know, the other face pointed towards us. That needs to be flipped. And it's very similar to how you would flip a center on a mouse pyraminx or on a Jing pyraminx. The only difference is it involves slicing moves, which you can also do on the mouse pyraminx. So here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me undo this. So typically on a mouse pyraminx, you would just do it like this, you know, or on a Jing pyraminx to swap them. But you can also, you know, do it. Let's say I want to begin with the left side. You can do it like this, and that will also do it. And this is what we're going to do on in this case. But inside of it being the center, obviously we have five layers. So it's the two layers that intersect the second most layers. So move that up, then move this one up, then move this one down, and this one down, move this one up, move this one up, this one down, this one down, up, on, and down. And just like that, it's solved. You would solve a professor pyraminx. If I want to solve the centers first, it's basically a reduction to a Jing pyraminx. The corners don't matter that much. We're just going to solve these first, the corners, to know what colors go where. Obviously, my preferred method is to do the outside first or the cage method, but if you prefer this, then whatever. To my knowledge, I discovered both methods. I discovered that one algorithm, but if I didn't, then this is how you would solve it anyways. So we will begin by rotating the corners. There's no yellow on this piece, so that must mean that this side must be yellow. Then we're just going to bring the yellow into the crop position. The yellow piece, this is red, this is blue, this is green. Good. It went to the correct position already. Then I guess it doesn't matter since none of them is solved, but move that in. There's a green piece. Move the green piece in to here. Yellow's on that side. So wait. Right here. Rotate. Bring this back in. No, I did that wrong. Sorry about that. Bring that in and bring that over. Now that's correct, and now it's the blue side. Bring that over. just like that. Basics center building. It's not like on a 5x5 Jing pyraminx, because that's actually hard to to craft a miner on it. Simply because you cannot do the typical thing what I'm doing here. It would not work because the corners overlap when you rotate. So there's corners now that do the odds pairing. It's really easy. So that I already see a pair. Let's move that on. Move this up. Then move this back. And what do we see? We see this pair right here. And that's the second pair. And let me, what way does it go in? Yellow. That's green and blue and yellow and green. So this one, green and yellow, with green and yellow. I mean, not green and yellow, green and blue. And that needs to go on the bottom, so it's like this. Then where's the other place that's off? Okay, not here. I thought it was. Then I'll move this over. Then I'll move this one in. But we move it that has to go like that. So what piece needs to go here? Red and blue. It's not like center building on a cube, because you actually need to do it in the cycle. So when you pull everything back the way it was, then everything comes aligned. And so what's over here? So when I do that, that goes here. This piece is now going to go here. So this one needs to be flipped. That's a typical thing. Tip. And where is it? Okay. Like this. No, like this. It's easy to get disoriented on a pyraminx because, there's no set in stone piece that doesn't rotate, unlike on a cube. I guess a even cube could be does as rotating, but you don't really move it around as much. So now when I move that back, this piece is going to go here, this piece is going to go here, and that piece is going to go here. So as building is done, then we are going to solve it. So this is the rod face. Bring that in. So this is the rod green. Okay, it goes over here. But then we can just do that. Rod and yellow. Just like that. I like it when it is this easy. Now, where's the other one? Where's the white head? Same color. Bring that up. Bring this in. Now, look at this crot. Let me rotate it. This is crot. This is crot. Now it just needs to be flipped. If we get parity doing this, you can do the otherism I show you to flip it, but it's going to screw up the centers. Then you would need to repair them by the commutator that I show you to do it. So like there's no advantage really to this method because you know when you have parity, it screws everything up. Now it's going to be very similar. Now how do I use it? Look, so that goes here. I know, but with blue. Okay, so the blue side is here. Now it's same color. Move that back. And you just need to be more careful to not screw everything up in this step. Now with the other blue, same color, bring that up, bring that down. Then where is it? Oh, that piece is in the right place, so that needs to be flipped. And looky here, I already not align it properly. Now what else do we have? Let me look. What needs to be solved? So red blue, where's the red blue? Aha, that is where it is. Red blue, and let's change this corner. I mean rotate the corner, and that obviously goes on this side, and then the other, okay, it's on top. Bring that down, and change that over. That's obviously green. Now, what else do we have? Yellow and green. So where's the yellow and green? On this side. And in this case, again, it has to be the opposite color and this face. And what side? That's yellow, blue. That goes up here. Not that side goes up to here. Then what has? That's correct. These two are flipped, so that changes that. And what do we have? Does this one goes here? I think. Nope, it doesn't go there. I mess up. Haha, here it is. Nope. Yeah, I'm just simply fatigued at this point, and this is why I'm screwing up so much. Okay, so this needs to go here. That goes up, that goes down. Then this one goes like this. Bring this down, bring that up. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. It's this one. Just like that. And now this corner has to be rotated. Now we have a forward center slash not out is a typical down, up, out. And just like that itself. This might look easier, right? This method, but if you get parity, it screws everything up. This is how you would go about flipping an Oz. It's the typical algorithm for a pyraminx, but what you don't see is obviously it would put like on this face, for example, it would put the yellow over here and the blue in front, and the same thing for this side, so green here, yellow here. But what you don't see is it actually flips it vertically, so the top becomes the bottom becomes the top on both sides. So when I, let me move this so you can see. That's the typical algorithm. And you can see now this blue-green piece has been flipped. And that is how it works. Don't get confused. On this one, it's very simple. Is right side on, left side up, right side up. So 2 moves, then you do it. And the reverse order to undo it. Then the top to the left, then bring the left side up, then bring the top to the right, and back down. It's very easy to remember because once you do this, and is always right going to make a pair. Let me show you. So let me do it again. So when we bring this over, you see how it connects that, and when we lift it up, it connects this, and then when we bring it back over, then it connects the rod. So even if you get confused on the 5th step, you could just simply think about it and figure it out. You're just trying to reconnect everything. It's the same for these pieces right here, these center edges. So we can do this, we can do this, and like this. And you can see this one is flipped and this one is flipped. This is how you would go about rotating these 3 pieces in a cycle to rotate it this way. How you would know if it's clockwise or anti-clockwise is this color in the tip of the corner right here. That's green, so it needs to go this way. So it's like this. Lift one side up, then back down on that side. Then obviously when you do it, each step you rotate it, and just like that. And it's very similar for these as centers as well. And to undo, just lift it up. You always want to begin by lifting, and then just bring it back down. And you can also do the same with these corners, but it would also rotate the tips of the puzzle on that side. So it's the same thing, and you can see it's now rotated, and now we have 3 sides unsolved and 1 side solved. And to undo this, just do it in the other direction. This is how you would solve it if you have this case. Granted, when you do it, it moves our 4 center pieces. You cannot do it with the center as well. I guess you could, but it would screw up these, and it would take longer because you would need to do it by slicing moves like this. If you truly want to do it this way, you can. but I see no benefit to it. This is how you would solve the last two others. I'm going to take my time with it and explain the algorithm. I'm going to show you both cases. Keep in mind with this algorithm, it would destroy the center. So if you're doing centers first, then you would probably want to do it an alternative way, such as rotating like the tip here, then rearranging the edges so that when you undo that, everything is in the correct spot. That would be the method to do it with centers first, but I'm going to show it to you on the way that you would do it when you're solving the outside first. So as you can see, the green and yellow is in the correct spot. It's flipped, but we don't care. And this needs to be green and red, and this over here needs to be red and yellow. So this top needs to come over to here because we are going to manipulate the right side here, and I'm going to give you the expiration. We basically want to move the piece to the side where it belongs. So it sends this red and green goes over to this side. We can imagine this being flipped and this piece coming back. So it will make this as red and green, which is what we want. And you also need to have the pieces, the other pieces across from each other, not diagonally. So if they are diagonally, set it up by either rotating it to the right or left side and do the normal as flipping algorithm that would do on a normal pyraminx. So we are going to move this red green here. Then we're going to put this as out of the way. Turn the face that's facing you leftwards. Then bring down the eyes that you pulled away. Then rotate it back. And since it was on the top, it goes this way, as you can see. But before we do this, we need to lift this side, which is to the right of the face that was facing us, upwards. Then move this across. Then move this back down. And basically undo the 4 moves that we put in. So this face to the left, up, over, and back down. And just like that, we solve it. So this needs to go here, this red and green, and you can see this yellow and red piece goes here, and this green and yellow goes here. This is flipped, and this is flipped, and we can fix that now, actually. And we pair the last two out. But what you would notice then, it also flips a tip. So you would need to rotate this tip in the correct direction, which is like this. And this is the algorithm. Now I'm going to show it to you after I set up to do it on the bottom. So I'm back, And as you can see, this blue and green as goes over here, and this blue and red eyes goes over here. And since there has to be blue and green, we are going to move this to here. Then just do the algorithm. Don't forget to bring this up. And what's different about doing it on the top, unlike the top which you turn it this way, it's actually this way. Other than that, it's identical. Then you want to bring this side back down and undo those 4 moves. Just like that. And these two are flipped, so let's fix that really quick. And of course it flips the tip. But as you can see, the odds itself, and that is how you would do it. If you get parity, then what you would do is basically move this over, then do the normal pyraminx as flipping algorithm to, flip these 2 pieces and these 2. Then you would want to create a pair on the back and have it so that a pair is made across. Then do this algorithm which I just showed you. It's very simple. I went over it, I believe, in the tutorial. This is how you would go about solving odds parity when these 2 odds need to be flipped with each other without destroying the centers. What's confusing is you cannot simply swap this odds with this one. It wouldn't work because this piece needs to be swapped with this one. This piece, the top yellow blue piece, needs to be swapped with this bottom green and blue. So it's fairly simple how we go about it. As you can see, it's only these 2. So you would just simply move one side, then just flip it just like this. Then you would move it back. Just like that. And then you would flip this and just flip it just like this. It's very simple. Then you are going to move this back. Then it just simply requires resolving the Jing's pyraminx part. Perhaps it's possible to not screw up the corners, I don't know. But it is what is. So let me look. Yellow, yellow. This is not yellow, so it means that this side is yellow. And yellow red, yellow green, that looks good. With yellow blue. Put that in. Then what else is there? Yellow red, blue red, and these 2 has to be flipped. Just like that. screw that down, and what do we have? We have this full case. So let's do the algorithm to fix that. Very simple. And just like that, the as parity itself. So in this algorithm, I'm going to teach you how to put the center rings and the correct places. So it swaps this piece with this piece is on the face that is facing you is either going to be bottom right or bottom left, depending if you do the left version or the right version. It's just simply inverted. Then it traces this one or this one if it's right, and it traces this one and this one if it's left. And don't get confused, it doesn't trace this one and this one or any. It doesn't affect the top piece, and it doesn't trace this like this. It's only this and this. It's the one directly below. I know it's kind of confusing because you would expect this one to be equivalent, like say this one, but it's not. It has 3 cycles. Each cycle involves 4 moves. And on the second cycle, at the end, we're either going to turn it like this. If it's to the right, we are doing it as, or to the bottom left, if it's on the left side, the bottom face. That is, we're going to turn it left or right. And so that look around, right? We have green, blue, yellow. Lot do, I don't know. This green on this yellow. So it's middle slice up, then middle slice to the left, then the other side down, the second layer into the right side, and is right to the second layer to the bottom. And that was one cycle. And since it was on the right side, we're going to turn the bottom face to the right, and we're going to do it again. And then we are going to undo it. Let me show you a side variant. This yellow and this green right here, let's twist them. So since it's inverted, it's like this. So the left layer, the second left layer, we're going to turn that upwards. Then we're going to turn the second layer to the bottom layer to the right. Then the second layer to the left side, down. Then the second layer above the bottom layer to the left. And we are going to just keep doing that. Just like this. And then since it was to the left, we're going to turn this one to the left. Right. Done. Left. And then we have to create the bottom. This algorithm, I'm going to teach you how to solve these centers, the dot centers, these centers. It's very similar to the algorithm on a master pyraminx or to a Jing pyraminx. Instead of doing this, which is the typical algorithm that you do, instead of turning a whole side, we're just going to turn this layer. So it's going to be like this. I'm going to show it to you on the the Professor pyraminx. You see it undid that. And it's really similar on this one. We're just going to slice it with the where it intersects. So you need to have the color that you want to be stressed with the side facing you, and they're going to stress the one on the bottom. So this yellow and this red is going to get stressed. And right side up, right side on, left side on, right side up, left side up, left side on, left side on, up side up, then right side up, done, and it's just like that. As you can see, it's